Hello and welcome back to the Learn RHEL YouTube channel, and more specifically about the series, my playlist on the User at GitLab series, which is focused on user interactions and tasks associated with a user dealing with GitLab repositories. More generically, a GitLab server that's also known as a remote. This series could be the tasks, techniques, and actions that would be performed by a general user, not a GitLab administrator, while writing, modifying, uploading some code, and maybe even more simply just downloading code that somebody else has written. So this particular video is on a specific topic about installing the Git tools and configuring them afterwards so that a user can commit code and take credit for it up into, again, what is known as a Git remote, a GitLab server. So some things we need to do is actually make sure that we have Git installed. So I'm going to type Git and hit the tab key, and I can't find anything. So I'm going to do a find command real quick. Search for Git. Actually, I'm going to put a Git asterisk with double quotes wrapped around it. And we don't find actual Git installed. Nowhere to be found. So that tells me I need to install it. And as we are a simple user on this machine, not root, we need to use the sudo command, escalate privilege, and then try and do a DNF or yum install of the Git package. These videos are going to be more oriented around Red Hat Linux variant users, so Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, AML Linux, and even Rocky Linux. So please, if you're watching these videos and you have some comments, please give them back, especially if they're professional and polite. I do take positive criticism and even some negative criticism, but I want to make the channel better and do a good job for you, the user community. So, getting them back to this, let's install the Git packages. I'm going to do a sudo DNF install Git asterisk. It prompt me for my password because I'm doing the sudo command. I'm not going to tell you what that is. Come on. All right. And we see there's a whole bunch of Perl packages and some compiler RT, and even Subversion is actually going to be enabled in the streams. Not really concerned about that, but there's the Git command and a whole bunch of other Git associated RHEL packages. RHEL variant packages. I'm running this command on a CentOS 8 variant. The command is precisely the same on AML Linux 8, Rocky Linux 8, or even Red Hat Enterprise Linux, also known as RHEL 8. I'm going to answer this prompt with the Y for yes, I do want to install. You can see 53 packages are going to be installed in terms of the Git packages, associated packages, and all the dependencies. Luckily, I ran a DNF update on this machine earlier, and it updated a whole bunch of other packages, including the kernel. So it's a good idea to update your systems regularly if you're doing development, but you remember, as a good business practice, you don't want to advance your development any further than your production environment. That's just a sound bit of advice for developers that are writing code and then need to release it to another operating system, or rather another machine that might be a little bit behind what the development is, which is a normal life cycle situation. Okay, so Git's installed. Alright, I'm going to do a ls-la, show you there is no .git directory in this output. None. In fact, we would probably expect to see it somewhere in between these two directories. So I'm now going to run the git space config space double hyphen, as in minus sign, global for emphasis, user period name. We're going to specify a username. This is not the same thing as a username like W French. This is a username such as in Warren space French, a proper name. So if your name is Tom Richardson, Tom space Richardson, Thomas space Richardson. Whatever your name is, that's what you put in there. Okay, That command was accepted on the command line, so this is a good start. Git config -- global again, and then specify user.email space. And now this is the email address you want to put down. You want it to be a valid email address. It really doesn't have to be, but whatever you do, at least have it formatted in the conventions of an email address. The reason why you want this is so that you can take credit for when you post code changes. And yeah, that's a double-edged sword. You might end up taking demerit if you screw up some syntax and submit changes or overwrite somebody else's changes. So this is really important. If you're a professional, you want to do this. You want to take credit. More specifically, you need to know that you've done something wrong by getting feedback from your code management team, and they can do that by seeing the setting here. So in this case, I'm going to use warren.french@acme.com. I'm not going to tell you what my Gmail address is. Come on. Hit the enter key. Now we've committed that. Finally, we can do some other edits, and you can figure out a whole slew of options. Get a book on Git and dive into the global options. But I'm going to also set my default editor so that when I do a git commit, C-O-M-M-I-T command, of some changes, you're actually prompted for a comment. Well, if you set the git config -- global space core.editor value to something, it will automatically go with whatever you set. So if you're an Emacs user, you want to put the full path to Emacs. If you're a VI editor user like me, you're going to specify /user/bin/vi. Hit the enter key, and that's also been committed. Now, if you want to confirm that these three changes are in place, it's easy to do. Git space config space -list as in list. Hit the enter key, and now you will see this feedback. This is what you're really looking for, and these things are by default added on your behalf. So we have successfully completed this particular task. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to move on to the next video and hopefully get it uploaded for your patronage very soon. Thank you.